August the 24th, 1999, Mickey Murdock dies. Mickey Murdock, Jamie's half-brother, died on August 24th, 1999 at 2:30 a.m. His 29th birthday was the day before. This photo left to right is Mary Murdock, Mickey Murdock, and Jamie Murdock. I'd been a stepmother to Mickey and Mary when Mike and I first married. Mike alleged in a custody battle that their birth mother, Cindy, had poured boiling water on Mary's face and had broken Mickey's neck. We were granted custody for a while. It was when they were both about this age and younger. Jamie was a newborn and Mickey was 10 years her senior, so I'm thinking we had them from about 1980 to 1982. The day Mickey was in the hospital with a broken neck, we flew to the hospital, and I was 9 months pregnant. I remember getting into a fight with Mike, and rather than stress Mickey out by having both his mom, dad, and the new pregnant stepmom in the room, I decided to hitchhike back to our hotel. It was cold, and I didn't have a coat. I was wearing a light, short-sleeved cotton frock I'd sewn to deal with my huge belly. As I started heading toward the hotel and noticed a high, narrow bridge ahead, I think it was the Arthur Ravenel Jr. Bridge, I panicked and went in the opposite direction. I am scared to death of bridges. I'll avoid them if at all possible. I kept heading north and then south to avoid bridges, and after a while decided I was just going back to Tampa. So I hitched ride after ride with truckers all the way home. They were pretty sensitive to my condition. When I arrived back in Tampa a couple of days later, I didn't have the keys to get in. Tired and hungry and filthy, I had to work a window by jimmying it for quite a while before I was able to get inside. And then this was written later, but I thought it would be of interest now because it's going to be probably years at this rate before I get to it. And this was dated May the 22nd of 2020. I got a call from Jamie's half-sister today. I listed the phone number and where she was living, where she works with seniors in an assisted living facility. Her mother, Cindy, was contacted by a Vicki Henderson wanting to interview her about anything she could say about me, the woman her husband divorced her to marry, or I'm sure that's what she and they think. Weirdly enough, Cindy and Mary like me a lot better than either of them ever liked Mike Murdock. Cindy asked Mary to ask me if I wanted her to cooperate, and if I didn't, she said she wouldn't take their calls. I explained that everyone who ever knew me for 5 minutes is suddenly finding themselves stalked and hounded by the press because everyone wants some nugget of dirt for the tabloids. Mary said so far no one has found her, but that she and her mom would stay out of it unless I asked them to speak to someone. Mary went on to talk about how she'd been setting people straight since Tiger King aired, saying that she loves me, and I treated her and her brother Mickey with love and kindness. She said the only time their father ever paid child support was while he was married to me, and everyone knew it was only because I wouldn't let him get away with abandoning his kids. Sound familiar? She remembered my parents being nice to them and my mother buying her her first pair of designer jeans she ever had. They were Jordache, and she said she thought she was hot stuff strutting around in those jeans. She remembered my cat, but then said she didn't remember much of anything else about her childhood as it pertained to Mike or anything else. I remember her trying to strangle my cat when she was about 6. And I thought she'd grow up to be an axe murderer if someone didn't intervene. Mike and I had petitioned for custody after he alleged that Cindy had broke Mickey's neck and poured scalding water on Mary, but we lost in the end. Mary went on to say that she suffers from anxiety and recently discovered her 2 female cousins do as well. James, Mike's brother, was their father. They can't remember their childhoods either. All Mary seems to know about Mike and James' relationship is that they felt that everything that belonged to one of them belonged to the other, including women. I told her about Mike fleeing the state the day the school decided to send an investigator to his house because they thought Jamie was being abused. She and Jamie really should talk. Jamie has never wanted anything to do with her past, so I just keep her advised when I hear from Mary, but I don't push her.